Hello. The video that you're about to watch was inspired by Vanessa Blanc's video about a year ago on what she carries in her car for snow emergencies. Her channel is Wild Woman Bushcraft. She's in Austria. If you have time, go check her out. She's pretty awesome. Thanks. Hi, Tom from the Fire Steel Forge, and today Adventures of the FJ60 Land Cruiser. We're going to look at what I have in the vehicle for winter use in North Dakota. Okay, I've always got a good pair of snow boots in the truck in the winter. These are Baffin brand. They're kind of expensive, but they are worth the money. I've always got some tools in the truck because I got an older truck and you need tools. I've got a wool blanket in every single one of my vehicles. It always stays in there. Each vehicle has its own. I never take it out. In this box, it's an old ammo box. I've got some just some essentials for each vehicle. Again, I've got one of those boxes for each vehicle, and they never change places. And there's like some fuel additive and such for keeping your fuel from freezing in the wintertime. I'll open it up here in a little bit. We'll take a look. And here is just a store-bought first aid kit, and it's got in there what comes in from the store. Always carry some water. They freeze, obviously, but you can thaw them out. And seems like the thinner the bottle, the better they hold up. When they freeze, some of the harder bottles will expand and they'll crack the bottle. And when you thaw them out, and then you kind of drizzle out of the bottle. So go for the thin bottles. They work better. Got my snow chains. Rarely have to use those. We don't have a lot of deep snow in this area. It's a lot more hard packed snow and ice on the roads. Some recovery gear. I got a Ditch Pig kinetic rope, and or recovery rope they call it. I believe Amasteel. There's like 3 other companies that make those stretchy ropes. A really good window scraper. You gotta have one. It's got a brush on that end and a scraper on this end. Oh, get it out of here. They used to come with brass, a brass blade edge on this leading edge, but they're getting harder and harder to find. And this side, if you've never used one, this scrapes really thick ice, and then you flip it over, and then you can scrape the rest with the blade. Get yourself one that has a good handle on it to keep your hands from freezing. This is aluminum rod. When it's 20 below outside, your hand will want to stick to it. And get one with a good brush so you can brush the loose snow off the windows. And then that red bag, I'll show you what's in there also. That's kind of my traveling bag. I call it like an emergency bag for the winter. Extra clothes and such, and a small shovel. That bag travels from car to car with me, along with the snow boots. And we'll get into that here in a second. On the outside of my vehicle, I do have a larger, regular size dirt shovel that can be used in snow, but they just don't grab a lot of snow, and it seems like you're kind of fighting. The snow kind of wants to stick to the shovel instead of You know, so then you're working twice as hard trying to get the snow off the shovel after you scooped it. So let's open this one first, and we'll show you quick what's in there, and then we'll get into the red bag. Okay, so we open up the ammo box here, and I've got like a safety vest in here. These things come in pretty handy, and they're awful cheap. You can get them at safety stores or farm stores and whatnot. And it's kind of nice to just have on when you're out there in a blizzard or something, and a guy can see you when you know, when he's coming up on you. You got something to reflect against. Here I got a little can stove that I made. Runs off of some methanol. And here I've got a lighter in there to light it. Here's a wind-up, one of them wind-up radios, safety radios, and it's got a light on there. You just crank whirly it around, and for about 5 minutes. That'll help keep you warm when you're cold too. And then the radio will play for probably about, I don't know, 15 minutes or so, and you can use the light for probably, I don't know, probably a good 10 minutes or so. It's got weather band on there, that's why I really like it. Of course, if you're in the ditch in the snow and the blizzard, you kind of already know what the weather's like, so there's that. Got to have a roll of toilet paper. I probably got about 2.5 rolls in each vehicle, just stashed in different cubbies and under the seats and stuff. Because the guy's got to have, you know, some toilet paper. Heavy trash bags. Guy can use that. You can cut a hole in it and slip it over your head. Use it as a poncho if it's raining or sleeting or snowing on you. You can pull it over and use it kind of to cover your legs if you're cold. I don't know, you can use it as a tarp to lay on if you need to. They're kind of handy. I got some extra oil in there because it's you know, it's an older vehicle. So this is the heat. I can run my little can stove off of this, and also you can pour this in your fuel tank to keep it from freezing in the wintertime. This is gasoline. My truck is gasoline, not diesel. So the yellow one, this is methanol, and it keeps it from freezing. They do make a red bottle, and that's isopropyl alcohol, and with a couple other additives, and that'll kind of help thaw out your fuel lines if it's already froze up. But this one I like because you pour it in there, and it's kind of preventative, and plus I can run my little can stove off of it. Tire plugs. In case a guy runs over a nail, and a little air compressor. Just got a hat in there for summertime, and some bugs. Like a natural bug repellent. Don't really need that in the wintertime, but like I said, this box stays in here year round, so this is also summer stuff. Okay, we'll open up the red bag now, and we'll show you what's in there. See, a quick note on the wool blanket also. This is an old Army military blanket, and it's got a real tight weave. So it's pretty heavy, but it's thin. It's good for keeping wind off of you, but a thicker blanket, a thicker wool blanket, will have more loft, and that will actually keep you a little bit warmer if you're stranded in the inside of your truck or your car. So thin, tight weave to keep the wind off of you, and a loose, heavy, like a loose weave that's thicker, fluffier. That'll usually trap more heat. It'll keep you a little bit warmer. Okay, so the red bag, like I said, that travels from car to car with me. It's I put it together in the thoughts that, if a guy goes in the ditch in the middle of a blizzard, or if you roll your car and the windows are out and stuff, you need some, you need to probably change your clothes, and if you're digging somebody else out and you get wet, And when it's this cold, especially in North Dakota, you know, it can get down minus 40, minus 50, sometimes even minus 70 degrees without the wind chill. And it's kind of about keeping the wind off of you and keeping dry. When it's that cold, you don't really have to worry about wetness so much from the outside, because the snow at that point is so dry. But it's your body heat is going to melt that snow, and you can get wet. Or if you're shoveling and you guy gets sweaty, you can freeze. You know, you can get frostbite from that pretty fast if you're wet. So little camping backpack snow shovel. These things are pretty handy. They got these little pop things here. You push these in and it extends the handle out, so it's about 3/4 the length of a regular shovel. They're light. This one's aluminum. You can get them made out of titanium, and you can really get to digging with one of these pretty fast. They have holes around the shovel face so that you can lash them onto things, backpacks and whatnot if you need to. First pocket, you guys gotta have a knife. I'm a knife maker, so I always got knives all over the place. So I like to have a fixed blade for emergency use instead of a fold-out knife. They're just a little bit stouter. So it's up to you though. Try to have a knife. Have a little flashlight on your bag. Have it on the outside of the bag. If you're in the dark and you know where your bag is, you can feel around for your bag. You can feel around for this light. Once you turn it on, you have light. If you have it inside the bag or somewhere else in the truck, and you're searching and searching, you know, especially if it's down inside the bag, well, if it's dark, you can't see what you're doing, and you're throwing stuff out of the bag and haphazardly, and it's just a good idea to have it on the outside of the bag. Oh, give me a second here. Okay, so inside the pocket, I've got this is an SOL brand, Survive Outside Longer. This is a tarp. I believe this is a 6x8 tarp, and it's got eyelets on the corners for lashing it up on stuff if you need to. Rubber band, which comes in handy for different things. You know, again, you can lay under your vehicle if you're shoveling or if you got to work on something. You can wrap it up. It's got a reflective silver on the other side, and it kind of helps keep you some warm, or if you need to kind of keep the sun off of you, or put it on a broken window or whatever, you know, if you roll your vehicle. So have a tarp. They're handy. Okay, so this is kind of my med kit. I've got all kinds of stuff in here. I've got 25-foot length of 550 cord, high visibility orange, and two more lighters. These are adjustable flame lighters. I like those a little bit better than the regular lighters. When it's cold out, they seem to just work a little bit better. In this Altoids can here, I've got some pitch wood, high flammability, so they're easy to start a fire if you need to. Hopefully you probably still have your cell phone on you, so I've got my charger for the cell phone. Even if your vehicle's stuck in the ditch, you can always charge your phone and try to keep it charged up so you can keep calling for help, as long as the battery in the vehicle is still working. I've also got some more rubber bands around these lighters. You guy could use those as a makeshift tourniquet if need be. Some more toilet paper, because if you roll your car, you know, a guy might have messed himself a little bit, or if you're stranded out for hours or possibly days on end, it's kind of nice to be able to wipe your butt. Again, I got some safety pins in here, all kinds of handy. Safety pins are great. A lot of people overlook their safety pins nowadays. You know, if you have a rip in your clothes, or if you need to help you secure a tarp up against something or whatever, safety pins are great. Just random ointments and different things in here. There is a candle down in here, and if your windows aren't broke out and you're stuck in a ditch, you can keep a little bit of heat in the vehicle just by burning a candle. You can put it on the center console or something, or just hold it in your hand, or whatever you need to do. And got some chemical hand warmers. Tear the bag open. Once it exposes to air, you shake it, and it just chemically heats up. You can throw it in your pockets and try to keep your hands warm, or wherever you just put wherever you need some extra heat. Those are great. Also in this pocket, I do have a couple extra cheap masks, because it seems like nowadays everybody's got to have a mask apparently. So, all right. On this side, I've got my Jetboil, because if you're stranded, this can also help keep some heat in your vehicle. And got a spork on the side, and this way you can have hot liquids and something to eat if you're trapped in your car, and you can try to keep yourself alive, you know. You always want to make sure that your fuel canister is full. When you put in an emergency kit, you want to make sure those things are full if you're in an emergency, obviously. Okay, we'll get in the bag here and I'll come back. Okay, right on top here, I've got a real heavy sweatshirt, and it's fleece lined, good heavy sweatshirt with a good hood on it. That's probably the first thing besides a pair of gloves that you might grab if you're stranded, just to start keeping your core warm. Good hat. This is a hat that my mom actually knitted this years ago. Call it my blizzard hat, because it's almost too warm to wear unless it's about 20 below outside. It's real long, can go down over your neck onto your shoulders. It's got a face, you can pull it down so you get like a face mask, so just your eyes are showing. And good heavy, nice heavy hat, or a nice wool hat. Keep a lot of heat in your body and help keep you warm. Good pair of mittens. These are wool, sheepskin lined. They're long cuff. I really like these. These will keep you warm down to probably minus 60, minus 70 degrees, no problem. Good pair of gloves. If you do have some thinner mittens, you can always put some thinner wool gloves or mittens inside. A lot of times a guy will do that. They'll get thinner wool gloves and then put them inside a heavier mitten. That way, if you need to do fine work, you've got gloves. You can move your fingers, and then when you're trying to just sit in somewhere and keep warm, a mitten is a lot better than gloves, because it keeps your fingers together, and the heat isn't dissipated out from the center. So mittens preferably instead of gloves. This is a food bag. It's a waterproof bag for backpacking. Come on, help me understand here. Come on now. Here we go. Got a Mountain House meal in here, dehydrated food. Breakfast skillet. That'll be good. So try to have enough food for at least 2 days, and we're not talking about 2 days of 3-course meals here. We're talking about maybe eating about every 8 to 10 hours or something, just to keep you alive. This is an emergency bag. It's not a 5-star restaurant. So, little lifesavers, sucky candies, hard candies like this. They're real good. Keeps your mind off of things, and you don't need them all at once. You just gotta suck on them, and they last for half hour or so at a time. Some ramen, good old ramen. Just I think it was made as emergency food. It had to have been. Instant oatmeal. Love this stuff. Make a batch of this. You can eat it over the course of a few hours and keep yourself warm and give your body some fuel to burn. Some tea, some coffee. I got a couple of each here. Some more oatmeal. This is the base for my stove, so it doesn't tip over in my car or wherever I put it. So it gives it a wider base to sit on. And a deck of cards. Why a deck of cards? Well, and these are plastic playing cards. They're not paper. So these are waterproof, and they're a little bit thicker than regular paper cards. These can keep your mind off of things, give you something to do while you're waiting for help. Plus, if you double them up, you can use them as ice scrapers. I've done that a bunch of times, and they work great. Light sleeping bag. This is probably a 30-degree bag. It's a Ozark Trail. Yeah, 32 above. And this is duck down, not goose down, so it's not not quite as good, but it'll give you something to crawl into if you're inside the vehicle, and especially if your heater's still working. You can keep yourself pretty warm. Plus, double that up with a wool blanket, and if you got broken windows and whatnot, you're still going to be warm. Got all your hat and everything on. And then here is just it's a bag, and they're like those suitcase compression bags, and I've got a whole other set of clothes in here, because if a guy gets wet, you're dead. You're gonna freeze. So these are waterproof pants. They're like a ski pant, and I really like these. They breathe. They're kind of light, and but they're still warm, and they shed water. And a rain jacket to use as a shell over your other clothes. And it's amazing how much warmer you'll be with even a light rain jacket. This is a cheap Walmart Frog Tog brand, I believe, and it's good. It's good enough to have an emergency. They work well. Just try to get the heavy duty ones. They come in different thicknesses, and the heavy duty Frog Tog seem to be better than like your backpacking ones and things like that. On the other side, pair of underwear, a pair of drawers. Guy rolls his vehicle, might have messed yourself. Who knows? Plus, if you're sweaty, they're just guys gotta get in some dry clothes. Wool long underwear. This is wool, a set of wool pants, and I stress, cotton is cold, wool is warm. You can always remember that. Cotton is cold, wool is warm, and these are going to keep you warm even if you do have to work and keep sweating. These will retain the heat a lot better than cotton or different materials. There's a lot of synthetics out there in these days that works good too. Wool t-shirt. Both these are merino wool. That just makes them soft. And like as far as wool goes, the warmest wool in the world is muskox wool. That's probably the warmest wool on the planet, but it's expensive as hell. And then what is it? They're like a llama, but they're not. Alpaca. Alpaca wool is probably the next warmest. And then if you want a real tough wool, like these are buffalo wool socks. And buffalo wool isn't quite as warm as alpaca or anything, but boy, they sure are tough. They're wear resistant, so they make a good sock. They're just a little bit itchier than merino wool, but they're still pretty soft. So wool socks again. And then over my wool t-shirt, I have a high visibility synthetic, like a high neck zip up. You know, you can roll the neck up, keep your neck, almost your chin warm, long sleeves. And this is going to keep the heat in from your wool shirt. And put your rain jacket on over that, or hopefully it's a winter time, you already have a good heavy coat on, and plus you got the heavy sweatshirt on to put over that. So t-shirt, long sleeve, synthetic, you know, it's what do you call that, like a microfiber almost. This will keep the heat in, and then your sweatshirt over that, and then your raincoat and your hat and your gloves and your mittens, and you'll be set. So you'll be good for the cold until somebody finds you, or you can get out and make your way to safety. All right, so there you are. What I carry in my vehicle for emergency use during the winter in North Dakota. It seems like when I was younger, it was pretty far and few between when you saw a vehicle come by the road if you were in the ditch. So you had to, you have to have enough stuff to keep you warm, and I guess that just carries over into my later years. Now we have cell phones and stuff, and I think we rely on those a little bit too much, maybe. Especially if you go and roll over and that thing might get thrown out the window somehow or whatnot, and you might not have it to call somebody. So another thing is too, back when I was younger, if you did see somebody in the ditch or a car in the ditch, you always stopped to at least go down there and see if they're still in the car, so you can call for help or wave somebody else down if need be. I've seen people drive right by accidents in probably the last 10 years. It just seems like more and more people just don't care about other folks. If you see a car in the ditch, at least stop to see if they need help, or if you can call somebody for them. So treat others as you would want them to treat you, the old golden rule. So this has been Tom Brown from the Fire Steel Forge, Adventures of the FJ60 Land Cruiser. We'll catch you on the next one.